Hey guys, what's up? What's going on, guys? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we'll go ahead and get started. I don't plan on this one being very long. I got another live stream at 8 o'clock over on the lifeboat. If you guys want to come check us out, I'll mention that at the end of the video. But yeah, we have had some eruptions, guys, and we're going to talk about that. So we got one coming right at us, and you'll see it very, very shortly here. But let me show you this first. This is X-ray production, and these are what we look at for flares. So that's what you're seeing, quite a few C-class flares here, and the reason why is because there are quite a few sunspots now facing Earth. So the eruption that I'm talking about, I believe, was right around this time frame, but it was not a flare; it was a filament, and I'll show it to you guys here in just a second. But as far as geomagnetic activity right now, nothing really going on. Everything's pretty quiet right now here at Earth as far as geomagnetically, but that's soon going to change, and I'll show you in just a second. But if you remember my last upload here, or last live stream, this is their forecasting, and they rate this was like reading 5% chance of R1 or R2 radio blackout, and yeah, now it's 25. That's actually a fairly significant number, guys. So there's a good chance of getting flares during all that. So for the next few days, we're going to have to be paying attention, at least probably for about the next week, I would have to say, if not a little bit longer. It just depends. The sun's going to stay active. It has its ups and downs and everything else. Plus, we've got coronal hole. Okay, and I think this is going to compound the issue we're going to have. I don't know if we're going to have issues. I guess I shouldn't use that word, but it's going to increase the intensity of this CME, I believe. I think some of the solar wind that's being released from this coronal hole is probably going to combine with this filament release, and all that stuff's going to kind of hit. So that could push us up a little bit further into storm levels than what it per se would have if it was just a CME by itself. But as you can see here, guys, these are sunspots. There's quite a few of them, and they're on this side, and especially in like this area, right? When they start getting over here on the side, they still have a tendency to like kind of like clip us, give us a sideways blow when they erupt. But when they're off over here like this, a lot of times they'll just go on off to our right or to our left, east or west, whichever you guys want to say there. But that's, we tend to pay a lot more attention when they're right here in the middle. So, yeah. But the ones we're talking about now, it's definitely coming at us. This thing ain't going to miss us, and I'll show you. So, let me, I tell you what, while this one's running, and I'm sorry, I I kind of rushed getting this put together because I do have the other live stream here at 8 o'clock. So I apologize if it ain't smooth like I like it to be, but I am going to try to stay to the point. But while this loads, we'll go ahead and go over here. This is the space weather data. I'm not going to waste your time here, guys. There's nothing going on. Density, BZ, phi angle, temperature, speed, all of that is completely normal. So there are no geomagnetic conditions happening right here that we need to be talking about. But this is what just blew off the sun. Okay? And there was actually another one, and I'll show it to you guys too. There was a couple eruptions, one happening last night and one today. Actually, there were two last night, and then this one around midday. So yeah, so you can definitely see, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, gotta take care of something real quick. I'll try to keep talking while I'm doing this, but I'm a little distracted. I gotta send a text real quick. But that is definitely a big eruption, right? So that's something that you know, we've been talking about these eruptions, right? And we've said double taps hit harder, all these other things, and they're very hard to pin down to on how strong they're actually going to be. And they definitely have a tendency to be strong and then weak, then strong and weak, and it's just really extremely hard to pinpoint exactly what kind of storm level or what kind of effect it's going to have on us. And usually what we do is we look at the size of them and then judge by the speed and the density. But even with that, when our magnetic field is actually, you know, doing what it's supposed to do and it's ready for it, we will fend off a larger hit. So this is why I think the coronal hole thing could come into play here, because we're going to be experiencing an increased solar wind speed anyway right about that time this thing's supposed to hit. Now, it could, the solar wind stream could be behind this thing. Now, even in that case, then you got the CME hitting, and then you got the solar wind behind it. So these things are happening really close together. Whether they combine as one or whether it's before or after. We definitely just need to pay attention to this. So this is a top-down view, and this is Earth right here, obviously. So you can see the top-down views. This is the NASA model. This is a CME tracker. It detects CMEs. So, yeah. Top-down view, it's hitting us. This is a side cut. Definitely hitting us right on the button there. And then this is our orbital line stretched out in a straight line. And watch the disruption right there. You see that? The most intense part of this, it's showing to hit us. Now, whether this model ends up being correct at the end of the day, you know, we'll talk about that as we get closer. But this is what we have to go by, right? We can look at this. We can look at the NOAA version of it. Let me check something here. Are we 5 for 5 in there, guys? I seen somebody saying they were having some buffering going on. If anybody's having any buffering, just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving here. So I do apologize if you're having buffering. I don't think it's on my end. I hope it's not. But okay. Thanks, IG. Appreciate you. Hey, the guy. Good to see you. So this one here actually shows this coronal hole a lot better than the other one did. So we got this coronal hole here, and it's definitely going to send some solar wind our way. 100%. Thanks, Cheryl. And whoever else at Conspiracy is good to see you. Cindy, George, thanks to everybody for saying 5-5 in there. I really appreciate that, because sometimes we don't know when we're doing these videos, right? But you can see how the coronal hole, you can see there was eruption here too. So, wham, right? That's not where it came from. This is one that happened before. The CME I'm talking about right now is over here from a filament, and we will go look at it here in just a second. That particular one, but I want to show you that. So you got eruption there, and that's I think that's where the filament erupted off of, right there. Okay, you can kind of see a little bit of a wave, shock wave going through the sun's corona here, and that might be a little bit of a solar tsunami, but there really wasn't an extreme amount of flare or X-ray coming from this. Again, it's a filament, and we'll look at the filament here in just a second. But I want to show you, I'm going to show you guys seeds first, because this does show it really, really well. Now, if you guys ever go over here to seeds, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the link here in the chat, because I think you guys should. I really do. I think everybody should go look at all this stuff, and that's why I say it, right? So there's the link, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the LASCO C2 first. So this is on the 13th here. This is on a satellite that sits about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. And it's always looking at the sun. It's basically, from our perspective, just sitting a little closer to the sun. This is a black disc that's an actual physical disc on the camera itself. It blocks out the main light of the sun. If that wasn't there, we couldn't see anything, because it would just be way too bright. Also, I want to emphasize this too. This is not a movie. This is not 60 frames per second. you're getting a capture about once every 12 minutes here. And what they do is they put it into a movie tool, and that basically it's a slideshow almost, or it's a time lapse basically, and it's really what they call it. But it obviously they do this like this so we can get a better idea of how fast it's moving. We can kind of see direction when it's put in this format. So I'll push start here, and you're going to see Eruption here, and there was a couple of them right there. So if we go to the next day, it's getting ready to come there. Okay. You seen these other eruptions down here, right? Now these have an outside chance of possibly maybe giving us some solar weather. I'm not sure yet. If it does, I don't think it's going to be much. But this is the one I'm talking about, the one that blew off. It looks to blow off to the right, but I'm going to pause this here in just a second, right about there, because I want to show you guys this did have a halo effect, okay? And all a halo effect is exactly what it sounds like. It looks like a halo because the energy itself is produced. This is how the camera interprets it. So it's got kind of like a partial halo, like a half halo is what I would call that, right? And sometimes we get a full halo. So why am I saying that? Well, if you get a full halo, it's either coming right at you or it's going directly the opposite direction. Okay? So that's why that matters. It helps us understand the direction it's going. It doesn't really speak to the power of it. Now, it can give you an idea how sizable it is, but the main thing that we look at for the halo stuff when we're talking about that part of it is just to get a better idea of the actual direction. Now this applies to when you guys could if you guys live like in the Midwest in Tornado Alley or anywhere really in the world today, you can see a tornado. Now if you're ever on the ground and you're looking out at a tornado or what have you, say you're traveling or whatever and you end up pulling over, if that tornado looks like it's not moving, you probably need to move. Okay, because most likely that thing's coming right at you. It's the same effect here. It's either going to be coming right at you or it's going to be going away. So that's just a little side note there because, that's real weather here on the planet, and a lot of people don't realize that. And also, sometimes when that happens to you, sometimes it can be actually increasing in size. So you can't really get a good idea. So you got to change your perspective, right? To see like a side view or whatever of this tornado, or we're talking about here with the eruption on the sun, and see what kind of direction it's moving, because you definitely don't want to be standing in the path of a tornado. But this is the same principle, okay? So that's why I brought it up. Now again, I can't speak to how powerful this is. I can tell you that it's not a little baby, okay? This thing was sizable. You can see how it even spread out even further. So the tool's showing the direct hit. I do think we're going to get hit from this. Do I think it's going to be right in the middle? I think it's got a good chance of that. And I do think that it's got a good chance to push us up into G2 levels, maybe, and maybe even G3 if the coronal hole stream is kind of combined with it. And the other thing that can happen, say we get hit with this and it jacks us up to G1 or G2 level, and then the coronal hole stream is right behind it, our magnetic field won't have a whole lot of time to get back to a stable position to be able to fend off the solar wind that way. So all this stuff is happening all at once, and that's why we talk about it. Is it going to be grid down? No. Okay, don't ever think that. Like I said before, guys, if it's going to be that kind of a situation, that's the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth. Okay, and chances are in those kinds of situations, I'm not going to be able to tell you. It's just going to happen, and I'm going to be in the dark just like you guys are, right? If something like that was to happen. So keep that in mind. Now, on a big CME from a large flare, those things get here in less than a day. And hours in some instances. Okay? A typical CME like this one's going to take about 3 days to get here. So, but if you're going to talk like a Carrington event, that thing it got here, like, was it 17 hours or something like that? It was hitting us. So that tells you that the speed was just, it was fast. And it's because the eruption was very, very violent, right? So keep that in mind. But also, if you guys go over here to seeds, all you got to do is scroll down, and you see these. If you click on the event movie number of frames here, the ones that are highlighted, it's telling you that that tool picked up a CME. So you watch when I click on the 12 here. It takes you straight to the CME. Okay, and it only shows you that those 12 frames, which is actually kind of cool if you just want to see that. And so that was the second eruption, and what I'll do is I'll show you the first. Here's the first one that happened last night. Okay, so yeah, I think it's very useful to do that. But let's take a look at it from the side. Let's go to the 13th first, and this doesn't show much, but right on the end you can kind of see a little bright right there. Yeah, this one here doesn't show us a whole lot on the 13th, but check out the 14th. Okay, Earth is over here to the right. This is our side view. This is stereo A. Okay, so this is, you know, both of these satellites are showing that it's going to hit us. So yeah, I think this is going to impact us, like I said, on the 17th or 18th. I don't think it's out of the, you know, realm to talk about that. Now again, I'm not going to speak to the strength of it, but what I will say, that if it does hit at the right time, along with the coronal hole stream, and something else I'll say here too. When we're hanging out in these kinds of conditions that aren't very active, a lot of times that first initial hit, we really react to it in a very, very negative way, I should say, I guess. I don't like to speak in negative positive here, because it's really not really one or the other, but it's the only really way I can articulate it right now. So basically, when we're having low geomagnetic activity, and then we have a CME or a strong coronal hole stream, and it hits us, that first initial blow will vibrate our whole magnetic field. Okay, actually, when we get hit with anything, it's really it's vibrating our magnetic field. So we got to have time to get back to a more stable vibration. And that's really what we're talking about with double taps and multiple things happening at once. So when we're hanging out low, and that happens right at that, like say we were hanging out in 3 here on the KP, and then we get hit with a couple things, you know, it might bump us up into G level 1 or 2 storms. But if we were hanging out down here and then the same thing happened, that has potential to actually jack us up to like a G3. So anyway, it could just make it a little bit more intense if we don't already have some geomagnetism affecting us already. Again, like I'll say this, the sun helps protect us from the sun. So, you know, I've said that quite a bit, but it's the truth. And the sun can do what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants. You know, I don't even argue that fact with people anymore. People used to argue with me on that one, and I never understood that, you know, because it's proven that time and time again, the sun will do what it wants. Yeah. Yeah, there is, you know, we got historic data to look at, and it gives us a good idea, but yeah. So anyway, you got this happening here. Now, let's go over here to ISWA again, and I'm going to show you the actual filament itself. So let me hit the 304 here. This shouldn't take very long to load. While we're doing that, I do want to take you guys over here to the earthquake map. We've had a couple decent sized earthquakes. Now, there were no tsunamis or anything with this. We had a 6.6 here in the Kermadec Islands. I think this was a 6.2. Yeah, 6.2 in the Loyalty Islands. So yeah, you could probably look for a third one that's sizable, that's got some size to it, intensity. A lot of times these will happen, and there'll be a middle one. Let's see, I'm gonna look down here. You know, this could be it, I guess. This could be the 3 that we're looking at. They come in 3s for some reason. You know, whatever. The bigger parts of them do, I guess. That's something I've noticed. So this could be the middle one. That would be the, you know, off to the side here. But this is something you see a lot of, and it gets articulated like a fulcrum point, and I'm not going to go into that. That takes a little bit of discussion. So let's go back here to ISWA. And let's see if we went back far enough. That's 812. What the heck? Again, it didn't take me to the one I wanted there. And okay, now it's got to load again. It did take me to the one I wanted to show you guys. So we'll go over here to spaceweather.com real quick, see what Dr. Phillips is saying. That is that eruption here too, okay? We'll look at it in depth here in a second. But please go give Dr. Phillips some love over here. He's doing a great job, always does. And he's basically saying the same thing I just said as far as the timing on this. Minor to moderate, and that's exactly kind of what I was saying on the geomagnetic storm levels. And again, I'm not going to get too much into his thing here because you guys should go check him out. Now, I will talk about this. This is from the Perseid meteor shower. Go read this article because this is really interesting. This is a live meteor detector. And what it does is, if it sees meteors, it really don't see the meteor. It actually sees the the burnt tail of the meteor. But this is what this tool does. So whenever there's meteor showers or something like that, you can go to Live Meteor, and I've shown you guys that site before. It's simple as just putting it into YouTube, and it's a live stream, 24 hours a day. So you come over here, you'll click on it, and it'll be, bing, bing, and it'll start, it has some sound effects, plus they'll turn red. They'll get real wide depending on what kind of meteor it is. But it's interesting to watch this when we're under some sort of a meteor shower, like the Perseid meteor shower. Okay, now on sunspot numbers right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Okay, so, and I think that this eruption here was a C5. It did produce a C5 flare, but that's not a big one. It's not real big at all. Okay, so we are here now. Let's see if we can't find it. Yep, there it went. And I'm going to zoom in because this thing is very, very photogenic. Okay. This is going to give you a pretty good idea of what's happening here and the direction in which it's happening. Hey, Pamela, good to see you. Sorry, guys, I am not paying too much attention to the chat because I need to get through this. Okay. I do apologize for that, but yeah. So if you look at that, okay, this is the 304 angstrom. This is on SDO. Again, it's another satellite, sits out in front of our planet. Actually, don't sit out in front of our planet. It actually is in geosynchronistic orbit, and I've explained that before. What it does is it stays over the same area of Earth, even when Earth rotates. But it always keeps its eye on the sun. So if you guys have ever watched Lord of the Rings, that great big eye, how it's always trying to look at the ring. That's the same thing this satellite's doing, but with the sun. So, and every once in a while, the Earth will actually get in between the satellite and the sun. It's called the SDO eclipse season. And it'll eclipse it, and things will go dark for, 4 or 5 captures as time passes and the satellite travels a little bit more. It comes out of that. Just like an eclipse with the moon. Actually, the moon actually eclipses this thing too sometimes. Just depending on what time of year it is and all that. But let's take a better look at this right here because that's where it came from. And you see it gives you a really good idea because you can actually see the arcing filament here. Let's I'm just going to zoom in as far as I can, try to give you guys the best look here. Okay, so you see that. Now that's just the initial, right? See how it even almost looks, I can't say for certain if this thing is kind of almost laying down. My guess is it's kind of arcing up. It's just our point of view here. We can't really see, if it's actually almost on the surface or if it's actually kind of standing up there. I think it's standing up more than it is laying down. But I find it interesting how these things erupt like this. And if you watch right here, right where the filament starts to break, you can actually see it twist. And it makes almost like a loop. See that? That's because one side of it's moving faster than the other, causes all that spin, and that's what you see, and then it breaks. See? And it flicks out. So as I flick it out, you can see the dark plasma just blowing off the sun. It's actually pretty hazy all around here. So let me, I'm going to back out a little bit more because sometimes we can see it better when we are backed off there a little bit. So let me do this. Oops. So just keep your eye right here. Okay. So that was a sizable eruption, guys. And it definitely left the sun, and it is coming at us. So, yeah. Now, again, I can't really speak to exactly how powerful it's going to be, but notice that there really wasn't a flash from a flare. And that's what I'm trying to say here. Because people think a flare and a CME is the same thing, and it's not. They're two different things. They oftentimes happen at the same time, or one will happen right before and after. But they are two different separate things. Flares are X-rays. CMEs it's coronal mass ejection. Some of the mass of the corona ejected out into space. And I just talked about the surface mass ejection they've seen on Betelgeuse. Okay, the star that's part of the Orion constellation. That's 400. They said it was 400 billion times stronger than a typical CME we would see here. But wrap your brain around that one. 400 billion times stronger. Basically, they were saying that, the surface of the sun, it blew out. Basically, a part of that star just blew off. It's kind of nuts. And Dr. Phillips did an article on that, and I showed it to you guys. I didn't read it to you guys because I want you guys to go give him some love, but there you go. I mean, look at that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think this is like grid down stuff, guys, okay? So please don't get that twisted. I'm not seeing anybody saying that, but I do want to make sure that everybody understands that this is significant, okay? This isn't something that we just like ignore, but it's also nothing that we get fearful over, right? So, yeah. Now, what we'll do is we'll go back over here to seeds for a second. And again, guys, Earth is over here. And remember, we've been talking about, the paper that was wrote on the X100 flare possibilities. The Carrington event was an X39, and I believe, I always get that number there. For whatever reason, I can't remember that number. But it was an X39 flare, an X100 flare, guys. I mean, come on. And they're saying within the next, there's a 70% chance within the next 30 years that that's a possibility here, our direction. And they're saying in the paper that was wrote in the article, and it was in a journal, okay, they said that within the next 100 years, there's a 99% chance. Now, they're never going to say 100%, okay? And I actually agree with that part of it. Now, something else I want to show you guys here, too, real quick. Hey, Grace Gibby, good to see you. You guys know I've shown you guys this so many times. This is the sunspot number progression. The 24 here is the sun cycle number. We're in solar cycle 25. Now, when I showed you guys this before, the forecasting here, it was this line, number one, they've changed it to a black line. It was red, and it was not showing this prediction to be this high. It was down here. Okay, now they changed that for a reason, right? And it ain't for what people usually think it is. They changed that so they can try to get things correct. And that's what they're doing here. So please don't blow that out of proportion. but it is something of note because this did change quite a bit. So, and it's the same thing that they do up here on this, on NOAA's version of the Enlil spiral. This thing here will show you 2 days historic data, and then forecast 5 days out in advance. All right, so 5 days out in advance, they're typically wrong 5 days out. Would you want them to leave that wrong as time passed so you didn't think anything was happening? So if conditions change, they got to change, right? And that's what this does. This will update itself, or they'll update it. So they're forecasting. It's just like you're forecasting on your local weather station, guys. It really is. How many times is the weatherman wrong? How many times is he right? It usually ends up being about 50-50. They are getting better, better models, which is exactly what's going on here. They're continuously trying to get better models. So, yeah. So don't not pay attention to when stuff like this happens, but don't blow it out of proportion either, okay? I see it a lot. And to be honest with you, I used to actually do that too. I'm half embarrassed about the stuff early on in my channel when I would say stuff like that. Not half embarrassed. It does embarrass me because I know better now. And I leave it there so people can see that I've made mistakes and that it's okay to make mistakes and we can learn from it. That's the reason I leave it there. I've questioned myself on whether I should pull it down because some of the things I said back then were wrong. Okay? I mean, like, really wrong. So, I leave it there for that reason, so you guys can understand that, number one, I have no secondary education in this. Number two, that it's okay. It's okay. We can all understand this at a basic level. And if you go back and watch my channel from the beginning till now, you'll see the growth that I had. And the understanding I have now is way different than what I did back then. And I'm able to come with you guys with a little bit more confidence because I am understanding it a lot better. And that's thanks to anybody that's ever helped me. Anybody, from the beginning till now. I don't discriminate when it comes to that. At all, period. I've had a lot of people help me. A lot. I didn't get here on my own. I can tell you that. And a lot of people that helped me don't even know they did because I was just watching their videos. And the list is so big and so long that, it'd take up the whole live stream if I just started saying it. And that's why I don't, But I do appreciate anybody that has ever talked about me and helped me understand things, okay? So if you're one of those people, thank you. And obviously there's ones that stand out to me, Scott over Planet X News. Steve actually helped get me started at the beginning on WSO. Marth has helped the channel a lot. Rip. I mean, everybody. And I could keep moving, guys. I mean, everybody has helped me. At least try to build this channel a little bit. And then as my understanding got further and further, I'm able to help everybody else a little bit better. So that's just, that's kind of what I would say there. And I just want everybody to know that's listening to me that's ever helped me. And I know I'm leaving a lot of people out right here, and it's not intentional. Because, again, I would just have to just keep saying names. And Isaiah Granny, okay, I'll say this. Yeah, you too, Pagan, Fugel fan for sure. When you draw my mind over to Ron Tyler over on Emergency Management Associates. Sorry, I was tripping over my words there a little bit, but I don't know much about earthquakes. I just show them to you, right? So I'm going to push you guys to people that are doing the earthquake stuff when we're talking about earthquakes, right? Because I know I don't have the knowledge base. So I'm going to push you guys to people that do, and even on just typical space weather, I'll push you guys to people that know way more than me. Just go look at my subscription list and you'll see who I watch. Just because people think I'm stupid doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch their channel, because you can still learn from them. And hopefully some of those people don't think I'm stupid anymore, but if they do, that's their right, and I'm not offended, to be honest with you. I get it. So, but yeah. Oh, is he on D-Live now only? D-Live only, or is he everywhere? Hey, Opera, what's going on? I didn't know that. That's right, Denny. That's right. That's right. Hey, family, God's love. What's going on? But yeah, so guys, I am going to be going over here. This is our live stream here in about 15 minutes. Well, we got 19 minutes. Here about 19 minutes, I'll be going live over here on the Lifeboat channel with my partner Tommy. We talk about addiction and addiction recovery. I had a opiate addiction that I had to take care of, and always be in recovery, always will. But come over here, nobody gets judged over here ever. We will definitely try to help you if you need help getting into some sort of facility or whatever. We got numbers we can give to you. We also got we'll just, the chat over there is a family, and I know a lot of people say that, but this is the truth. And a lot of the channels that I hang with, they are family. Marv and anybody else, right? I mean, we all call ourselves family. Mark Pires, Renaissance man, same thing. But that is definitely the vibe you get there. Even if you're high or if you're drunk or what have you, we don't judge you. We want you there. So, and people come over there, we talk, we try to help. And so anyway, that's my second channel over here with Tommy. That's what we do. We try to help, and it's nothing but love. I promise you that. And again, if you just want to know things, if you have a family member that's in addiction and you just don't understand it, come over there. We talk about that too. We can help you understand it, and then you can help your family members, those kinds of things. We're not doctors. We don't have any education on it and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Tommy, what's up, brother? We don't have any of those credentials, but we have life experience, right? So if we don't know something, we will definitely try to find the answer for you or point you to somebody that can give you the answer. So yeah. So that's what I will say. Yeah, no kidding, man. Here is the link to the live stream. Please come check us out. That's how we grow. Share us out, and please share me out on Wages World too. I'm trying to just do the best I can. I wouldn't do this unless I wanted people to see it, and that's why I'm doing it. And then we do the second channel here. Believe it or not, guys, this helps me probably more than I'm helping people over here, and that's just what it is. But again, please come check us out. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay. I mean, honestly, but just give us a chance. That's all I'm asking. So, AT Prada, what's up? But there's that link. I will put the link in there one more time. There you go. It's definitely something that I really hope everybody takes my advice on this and checks us out. I know we've helped. Okay, we've gotten a lot of people into rehab facilities. We've helped people just get through day to day, and we're changing every day too. We're more about just trying to learn how to live a good life and be happy. Because what's the point if you're not going to try to be happy? That's what I would say. So, oh look, Pagan's over there. Check her out. Hey, Five Sight. I see you over there too. See, everybody's over here in the chat already. It's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Seven. What's going on? Hey, Linda. Okay, guys, I am going to go ahead and bump off here. We definitely we'll be doing this live stream here in about 15 minutes now, I guess. And we'll go ahead and end it here. But I tell you what, let's end it here so you guys see what's happening. Again, filament eruption is going to come at us. So anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.